In the heart of West Africa lies a land of resilience, heritage, and hope. But for decades, Burkina Faso has struggled with broken infrastructure, arid lands, and a lack of opportunity. For many, the future looked dry, until one man decided to change everything. Meet Ibrahim Traore, an innovator, a dreamer, and the visionary behind one of Africa's most radical infrastructure revolutions. Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation in the heart of West Africa, rich in culture, full of heart, and yet, walking through its vast plains, one thing becomes painfully clear: progress is not always paved. In many parts of this country, roads are not roads. They are merely trails carved by time and footsteps. When it rains, they vanish. When it's dry, they crack. And when people need them most, they fail. We have no roads, only paths. When it rains, they flood. When it's hot, they break. Every season brings a new problem. For most of us, roads are something we take for granted. But here they define survival. A broken road in Burkina Faso doesn't just mean inconvenience, it means hunger. It means missed opportunity. Sometimes it even means death. In rural communities, farmers grow food with their hands under the scorching sun. But when harvest time comes, getting that food to market becomes the real challenge. Without proper roads, crops rot before they're sold. Prices fall, incomes collapse. And it's not just about food. Pregnant mothers cannot reach clinics in time. Children walk hours through unsafe terrain to attend school. Students miss exams. Workers miss opportunities. Everything, education, health, economy, depends on a road. Over 80% of Burkina Faso's road network remains unpaved. In remote regions, that number climbs even higher. During the rainy season, over 65% of rural roads become impassable. Transport costs soar, reducing the value of local produce by up to 40%. Meanwhile, climate change worsens the problem. Floods erode roads, heat melts asphalt. And every year, millions of dollars are lost, not just in infrastructure, but in human potential. The government tried traditional methods, but imported asphalt was too expensive. Cement roads cracked under the heat. Maintenance costs drained budgets. Foreign contractors left behind more promises than progress. It became clear Burkina Faso needed a solution, but not just any solution. It had to be strong, affordable, climate resilient, and most importantly, homegrown. And that's when one man asked a different question. Not what do we need to import, but what do we already have? What is abundant, cheap, and ignored? Old tires, thousands, maybe millions, discarded across the country, burned in open air, left to breed disease, trapped in landfills, a symbol of waste until someone saw them differently. From waste to wealth, from burden to building block, the road to a new Burkina Faso would be paved not with concrete, but with courage, creativity, and rubber. In Burkina Faso, where resources are limited and challenges are plenty, one man dared to look at trash not as a problem, but as a possibility. Across the country, old tires lie forgotten in landfills, scattered along roadsides, burned in backyards, and dumped in empty fields. For years, they were nothing more than waste, useless, toxic, and dangerous. But for Ibrahim Traore, an engineer with a bold vision, these tires became something else entirely: the future. As a young student in the capital city of Ouagadougou, Ibrahim noticed something strange. Tires were everywhere. They outnumbered solutions. But unlike others, he saw value where no one else did. Rubber, he realized, was durable, flexible, weather-resistant, and, most importantly, abundant. While governments struggled to maintain traditional asphalt roads that cracked in heat or washed away during floods, Ibrahim asked a radical question. What if we could build roads with what we already have? With nothing but a small garage and a mind full of questions, Ibrahim began to experiment. He collected old tires, shredded them into granules, and mixed them with sand. He tried different combinations, sometimes failing, sometimes burning the mix, sometimes watching it crumble under pressure. But slowly, a formula took shape. By adding a special organic binder made from local crops and recycled plastic waste, he created a material that was strong, flexible, and built to last. It was more than a road surface. It was a breakthrough. But for Ibrahim, it wasn't just about science. It was about pride. "Why import concrete?" he asked, "when we're standing on a gold mine of local materials?" He believed in homegrown solutions, in turning local waste into national wealth. His idea wasn't just to build better roads, but to build a better mindset, one where Africans solve African problems. His first opportunity came in a small village called Zangu. Every rainy season, the community became completely cut off from the nearest town. School children would stay home. Farmers couldn't transport goods. Pregnant women were carried on foot to distant clinics. That changed when Ibrahim and his small team laid down a 2-kilometer rubber road using his recycled tire mix. It took just 18 days, but the impact was immediate and life-changing. Vehicles could now pass even during the rains. Kids went to school every day. Emergency help could finally reach the sick. And most importantly, the road didn't crack, didn't sink, and didn't disappear. It stood strong because it was built for this land by people who understood its challenges. Soon, the idea began to spread. Communities began collecting tires instead of burning them. Microfactories popped up where youth shredded rubber. Women-led cooperatives managed tire collection and sorting. For every kilometer of road, nearly 10,000 tires were recycled. People who once struggled to find work were now part of a green economy. Waste was no longer waste. It was opportunity. The world began to notice. Non-governmental organizations, engineers, and government officials from other African nations came to see the project firsthand. What they saw was more than a road. It was a movement, a local, low-cost, eco-friendly solution that could be replicated anywhere there was waste and willpower. From waste to wonder, Burkina Faso's tire roads are now a symbol of what happens when innovation meets necessity. They are not just roads, they are pathways to dignity, progress, and pride. Ibrahim Traore didn't just build roads, he built hope, and the journey is just beginning. When the first recycled tire road opened in Zangu, the change was instant. For the first time in years, the village was no longer cut off during the rainy season. Students walked to school without fear of getting stranded. Farmers transported their goods on time. And for mothers in labor, the difference between life and death was now just a 10-minute drive, not a 4-hour walk. What looked like a simple strip of black road quickly became a symbol of rebirth. But the real power of this project lay beyond the asphalt. Ibrahim Traore didn't just build a new surface, he built an ecosystem. Every phase of the road's construction involved the community. From the collection of tires to the shredding of rubber, from mixing the binder to laying the roadbed, local people led the process. Men, women, and youth received training and payment, turning the project into a source of income and pride. Where there was once unemployment, now there was industry. Where there was once waste, now there was wealth. And the model was scalable. Each road wasn't just a piece of infrastructure, it was a factory of opportunity. Micro-units for rubber processing opened in several rural areas. Women-led cooperatives started managing tire collection routes. Ibrahim's model empowered the very people the old system had left behind. Roads were now built with community hands, designed with local knowledge, and tailored to withstand the unique climate challenges of each region. This was not foreign aid. This was local innovation, rooted in the soil of Burkina Faso. As word spread about Ibrahim Traore's recycled roads, the world began to take notice. News agencies across Africa picked up the story. Sustainability forums invited him to speak. Engineers from India, Brazil, and even Germany visited his construction sites to study his methods. What amazed them was the simplicity and genius of the concept. using something every country has in excess: waste tires. Combined with sand, local binding agents, and community labor, this system created durable, low-cost, eco-friendly roads without relying on foreign imports. Environmental groups praised the reduction in carbon emissions. Compared to traditional asphalt roads, rubber roads emitted nearly 40% less CO2 during construction and had a longer lifespan. The roads didn't melt under the sun like tar. They flexed instead of cracking. They allowed water to drain naturally, preventing erosion. It wasn't just an innovation. It was a revolution in climate-resilient infrastructure. Ibrahim's team didn't stop with roads. They began experimenting with pathways for parks, bike tracks, and even school playgrounds made from recycled tires, soft, safe, and heat-resistant. The project began to shift the mindset of urban planners. Suddenly, development didn't mean destroying nature, it meant working with it. NGOs, development banks, and green tech companies began offering support, eager to expand this homegrown solution across Africa. And amidst all this, one thing remained at the heart of the movement: the people. The same villagers who once walked on cracked, muddy paths were now laying down roads of the future. They weren't just beneficiaries, they were builders of their own destiny. But Ibrahim Traore's vision extended beyond roads.